Good evening. Thank you for having me this evening. Again, my name is Michael Morgan, and I'm with an organization called Flags of the Fallen. If you'll indulge me for just a minute, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are and why we do this. I have a couple more of our board members around here who are local law enforcement as well. So even though we're a national organization, we are based locally. So events that are in our backyard are even more special to us. Our organization, I want to invite you. We got started after we lost 13 American heroes in Afghanistan coming up on 2 years ago. And I was just sitting around my wood shop when those tragic events unfolded, and that whole situation just made me sick. And the number 13 just kept gnawing at me. There were 13 heroes defending our country, defending our flag, and 13 stripes on the flag. The whole symmetry of that event just, I couldn't get it out of my head. And I liked making flags for friends and just as a hobby. So I said, well, I'm gonna make 13 flags, and I'm gonna find these 13 families, and I'm gonna send flags to them. And what we did in that situation is we put one of each of the names on each of the stripes. So it ended up, the flag was full, had 13 names, and I often joke that you can't take a flag of this size and just take it to the mailbox, and it's not like a letter to Santa Claus. You can't just put it in the mail and expect it to arrive at its intended recipient. So I had to find these families, and it was an interesting situation because obviously I'm reaching out to people about the single worst event of their life. And when I was talking to them, they, first they don't like, who is this guy? We don't know him. And eventually they realized that I was just well-intended, and we got the flags made and sent out to them, and they, we spoke a lot since then, just because I spoke with Mrs. Burson a tremendous amount as well during this process. And those families, as a group, said, Mike, can we ask you an additional favor? And I said, of course you can. And their simple request was, don't stop with us. So that's when that idea turned into a 501c3 nonprofit organization where we make flags for anyone that we lose. And my first condition of doing that was that we include first responders. Several of those 13 families, their parents are law enforcement as well, so they thought that was a fantastic idea. So we took it from there, and in the year and a half since that day, we've been to California, Arizona, Florida, Mississippi, the list goes on, and obviously a number here in Georgia. And the organization keeps growing, and it's become the absolute honor of my life. I had no earthly idea that we would be doing this at all, and I've got to meet so many amazing people like all of you who understand service better than any of us can ever imagine. So I can't thank you all enough for everything that you do. I'm truly in awe of all of you. The level of dedication and service is just mind-boggling to me. I do not serve in any capacity. All the people on my board are either law enforcement, military, or we have almost every branch or different division covered. So I'm the outsider, but I've learned so much from all of you. And one of the things I've learned when reading so much more about the flag is the flag is a symbol of many, many things, and one is a symbol, it's a promise that if you, God forbid, do pay the ultimate sacrifice, that flag means you will never be forgotten. And again, speaking with all the different families that we have, and it's been well over 100 in a year and a half, by far and away the number one concern that I've been told is that their loved one would be forgotten. And that doesn't sit well with me, so that's why we do what we do. And it's just a small, tiny way to show our appreciation and gratitude for your son and what he did for our country. And thank you for turning it down a little bit, the cars. But a number of people have said when they see their flag, it's almost as if there's a strip of glue paper on the floor by it. Because what we try to do, as you'll see here in a second, is we want to make these every flag can only be about one person. This flag is about Joe Burson and nobody else. There are 3 different ones. There's one for you guys, one for his wife, and one for the station. They're all a little bit different, but when someone walks by this flag, whether it's in this building or at either of your houses, I promise you, people will stop on a dime and they're going to spend, 30 seconds or a minute reflecting on Joe. And whether it's a conversation with you guys or a conversation with themselves or their maker, that's gonna be our very small little way to make sure that Joe is remembered as often as people see this flag. So now I'm going on the road. So Officer Joseph, this is the one for the station, by the way. Officer Joseph William Burson, Holly Springs, Georgia Police Department, badge 235. I'm sorry, this is yours. EOW, June 17th, 2021. And they asked me to put the Bible verse, John 15:13. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And I think that sums it up amazingly well. I think I shared the story with you. When you asked me about putting this on there, I was on my way to honor a Pearl Harbor survivor who had just passed away, and the day after you had given me that, I walked into that ceremony, and the same verse was on the cover of that program, and I knew that there was a sign. Joe was connecting to all of us with that veteran as well. So I think that's beautiful. You added just an amazing touch, and of course I've learned a lot. The old badge, the new patch. I think we should call this the Joe patch. What do you think about that? So we've got the old one, or the Joe patch on there. And on behalf of all of us who flags were fallen, I want to present this to you with our gratitude and sorrow, and we'll remember Joe always. Thank you.
You know, Mr. Morgan mentioned something that I just have to comment on. And that is, some people wonder why we do what we do. You have to go no further than right here and look at these children that are here today with their parents. That's why we do what we do. We love our community, but we especially love our children. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to call forward John Thomas. I would like for you to play whatever it is that you have on your heart tonight.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Mike, for this beautiful, I don't know how to put this into words. This is such a beautiful thing you've done, and it means the world to us that you're doing this for other families, and I think it's beautiful work that you're doing. I prepared a statement for today that was kind of for a general audience, not specifically for you, but I do have a remark directly to you here that just kind of reflecting on the last 2 years, and this is a little something on my heart today. So today marks 2 years since my brother Joe Burson was tragically taken in the line of duty while serving as a police officer in Holly Springs, Georgia. His heroism is remembered by many, and his dedication to his oath is a reminder that our country's freedom, security, and strength is not free. Joe's name joins the wall in Washington, D.C. among the thousands of heroes who laid down their lives, standing up for the values our Constitution provides for. Those who choose to defend America, both domestically and around the world, stand in the gap for those unable to defend themselves and those unable to find peace because of the ruthless evil some feel entitled to bring to the world. Sadly, many of our nation's leaders refuse to stand by the men and women in uniform who continuously put their lives on the line. Heroes like Marine Daniel Penny, who came to the defense of fellow New York City subway riders against an aggressor. Some in power, like Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, attempt to gain political points by propping up mentally ill, law-breaking thugs as victims. Those who engage in pathetic political rhetoric at the expense of those swearing to protect the laws they create are not worthy of the freedom our country was founded on, and our citizens are starting to see the cowardice and lack of empathy for their fellow countrymen. To the police officers, military servicemen and women, veterans, and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, I stand with you. Our family stands with you. And despite the absolutely demonic rhetoric and selfishness of those who have no respect for you, I pray that you will continue the good fight. Do not be discouraged by those who carelessly enjoy the rights and privileges our country provides while cursing those who protect us. Be relentless, be brave, and remember that countless Americans have died creating the country we live in today. Never forget it. What I'm about to play is a piece that I composed in Joe's memory. His badge number 235 is represented by a 3-note motive in the melody and concludes with a reference to the call I never imagined I would play for my own brother, Cass. I actually composed this piece for the road naming ceremony, which we saw many of you on that day. Since then, I actually took this piece to the North American brass band competition and actually won. And I'm proud that Joe's memory is touching other people. And that's really what I strive to do with my music and what I do with my life. That it's hard to put into words how to remember someone and how to live your life the way they would be proud of you to live. But I try to tell other people about Joe's story and how he made me a better man just by being my brother. So this is Fanfare 235 for Joe.
Mr. Morgan, John Thomas, thank you both for your words. I could not agree more with what you had to say, John Thomas. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our presentation with the Burson family tonight. I appreciate you coming out. If there is ever anything that the Holly Springs Police Department can do for you, please let us know. Thank you.